Welcome to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, where on December 3rd we are going to have World Heavyweight Championship boxing. We knew that Tyson Fury wanted a fight. We sort of knew the venue, we definitely knew the date, but now we know the opponent. Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora. It is taking place right here, December 3rd on BT Sport Box Office, and it all started a few weeks ago back in Manchester.
No problem. Any time, any place, anyone, I beat you. And I beat you also.
Yes, here we are at the press conference ahead of Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora. And as you can see, I'm joined by 2015's Britain's coolest man. Also, two-weight world champion. Can never get on that. But yes, Carl Frampton, you've spoken to both Tyson and Derek already so far today. How have they been?
Both guys confident. Derek was really relaxed, really relaxed. But both oozing confidence. Both think they can win the fight. You know, there's a favourite in this fight, and a big favourite. I kind of put it to Derek. Is this going to be one of the biggest upsets if you win this fight we've ever seen? You know, Buster Douglas, Tyson type stuff. And he says no. He says it's just another day, just another fight, 2-horse race. I suppose it's a fight that people we were hoping for AJ or one of the bigger names. But what you always know with Derek Chisora is he comes to fight and he'll have a go. I
think that's been what a lot of the chat has been about. I know they've been doing various interviews around it. A lot of the questions are about that, the AJ fight that people wanted. But once that AJ fight went, it's difficult to make something else. And I think Frank's been saying, and to his credit, I think he's probably right. Who else was there? They looked through the list, and Michael Hunter and Bacoli were there, I think, as well, and they would have been good fights. But when you've got the stadium, there's that added thing, right?
Michael, I don't know if Michael Hunter and Bacoli sell any more tickets than Derek Chisora, if I'm being honest. And Usyk's out of the picture for a while, or until next year. Joe Joyce has just boxed. Maybe Daniel Dubois, but he's still, relatively green. I think when you there's been a lot of criticism thrown at this fight, but when you kind of delve into it a bit, it's not a bad fight considering what the options were.
Yeah, I think just around the whole card in general, obviously you can see that Daniel Dubois and Kevin Lerena is on the card as well. There's kind of this just presence of Usyk around this whole fight. Fury's spoken that he wants this fight, then Usyk. You look at Daniel Dubois in the rankings. He's looking at Usyk, and now he's got a 6'1" southpaw to fight on the night. It does all feel like it's the road to Usyk, doesn't it?
Well, that's it. If you're one of the other guys, it's the road to Usyk or Fury. So I think they're the two fights. But even AJ's a massive name, and with a fight against AJ or Wilder, the opponent gets well paid, and I suppose it's a business. That's what a lot of guys are in it for. But Usyk. Who's the top dog in boxing? You have to say Tyson Fury, although he has one belt. Usyk has the majority of the belts, but them two are the top guys, but Fury really is still the top guy.
There's also, we spoke about the stadium and selling the tickets. There is that kind of part of boxing, particularly when it's at this stage, that there has to be that sort of mainstream pull through and the mainstream interest. And Derek Chisora, there's a lot of people here at this press conference fully anticipating like a table being flipped or a glass being thrown. We've seen it before from Derek Chisora. That's all going to be kind of a big part of this build-up, isn't it? As these two are going to try and get in each other's heads. We know Fury's won the first two fights in the trilogy. This is the trilogy fight, but we know that Chisora is going to have to play into something completely, out of this world, out of the normal human mind.
Yeah, that the last performance from Chisora against Fury, it was a long time ago, and it was a really underwhelming performance by him. Although he's older now, he's a better fighter than he was then. I don't know what happened in that camp, but it just looked like he kind of felt sorry for himself at times in the fight. But he's a different guy now, and we know what he's about. He's now called War Chisora rather than Del Boy, and he will bring a war and he'll have a go. He's a massive underdog, but everyone has a chance in heavyweight boxing.
So their first two fights, July 2011, the first one, 2014, the second one.
Frank,
Got the trilogy now.
Frank?
Oh, here's Frank. Here's Frank. How are we doing, Frank? Good to see you. Good to see you. Another big stadium fight. I mean, it doesn't feel that long ago that we were in Wembley.
It doesn't, does it? Time flies, especially when you get my age.
You're a gooner as well, aren't you, Frank?
Yeah, I know. Don't worry, I've got some garlic in my pocket. Everywhere I go.
Getting this fight over the line, it seems like it's been an incredibly difficult couple of months. How has that whole process been for you?
It's been a nightmare. You know, originally it was going to be Usyk, and unfortunately, after the fight, he said he won't be ready for December, so that's been pushed back till the end, late February, early March. And then we tried for AJ, and we thought we were going to get it done, but unfortunately that wasn't the case. And yesterday, for the first time, actually came out, I think it's Frank Smith from Matchroom, and said that they didn't feel they had enough time. I wish they'd have told us that the month before, but anyway, they didn't.
So do you think that's the AJ fight falling through? Is that down to AJ, down to his team?
Down to AJ.
Yeah.
Down to his team, yeah. I mean, he said it yesterday on an IFL interview.
Yeah.
Because you always feel with these things, you know, obviously we had Tyson setting deadlines and things, but that isn't really what matters, right?
No, what
it's the promoters
he
and the
was saying,
broadcasters.
every day I'm saying, how's things going? It's going well. Yeah, I think we're getting there. So, right, okay, well, I think we get it done by the end of the week. Okay, so he says, I want this done by the end of the week. And I'll go back to him, well, why is it not done? You know, he's saying, why is it not done? And I'm saying, well, I think we will get it done. And that happened a couple of times, but we were still negotiating all the time. And in the end, I said to him, listen, we will get this done, because I felt they really wanted it. And I had a 10 grand bet with him, so I blew 10 grand.
Yeah, I've seen the envelope today. It's actually the first time I've ever seen 10 glowing briefcase, but it's just an envelope. I was disappointed, Frank. I thought you had more showmanship than that.
He's done it. More showmanship. No, he won it, and that was it. But it was just it was a nightmare. And we go through all the ratings. If you go through the ratings, I'm going to go through them and drive you mad. I'm going to bore you after. Just beware, damn it. If you go through the ratings and see the availability of fighters, right, the availability of fighters, then you'll see what the problem we had. So this is the rate. These are box rec. These are the independent rankings that everybody uses. Yeah. So number 1 is Usyk. Just told you he's out. Number 2 is Joshua. Didn't want to know. Deontay Wilder fought over the weekend. He's not available. Andy Ruiz now looks like he's fighting Wilder for the eliminator. Dillian White, he just beat Dillian White. Joe Joyce, he's not going to be available. He just had a fight. He's on holiday. Luis Ortiz, he got beat a couple of weeks, when it was a month ago. Joseph Parker got beaten by Joe Joyce. And the next one in on the independent rankings is Derek Chisora. And the one after that is Pulev, who he knocked out.
We talked about that, and I think there's probably a wee bit of harsh criticism thrown at this fight. Yeah. I think probably, you know, you've got Bacoli maybe, you've got Hunter, but they're below Derek in the box rec rankings. And I think anyway, Derek brings a lot more to the table than either of those guys.
Well, he's going to come to fight.
Yeah.
You know he's going to come to fight, and whatever he's going to bring to the table, we'll bring. Look, I'm not going to kid anyone. I think Tyson, head and shoulders above all the heavyweights, whoever he's in the ring. You know, if he'd have been fighting Usyk in December, I think he would have beaten him. If he'd been fighting AJ, I think he would have beaten him. I think he would have stopped him. That's what I feel about him. So you've asked me each fight, what do I think he's going to win? Do I think he's going to beat Derek Chisora? Of course I think he's going to beat Derek Chisora, because as I just said, he's the best at it. But I know Chisora is going to come to fight. And the thing about Tyson, he's never in a boring fight, is he? When was the last? I mean, these last few fights have been brilliant fights to watch.
Do you think Joe Joyce would have taken it? I know a lot of people have been asking for that Joyce fight, and I know for a number of reasons it doesn't quite work, particularly Joyce having fought so recently, but Joe himself probably would have had this in a second, wouldn't he?
No, he couldn't. He said himself after, when was it, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about it publicly. He said, I've just come out, I've had a fight, I'm not going straight back into a camp. I haven't got enough time. Which is the truth. And I've got to be honest, I wouldn't want him to do that. If he's going to fight Tyson, then be able to go in there at his best. That's what we want. Tyson set himself down. This fight, if he comes through this, Usyk beats Usyk, he said his first defence will be against Joe Joyce.
Yeah. And I think there's been a few mentions of Otto Wallen as well. Could have been around a rematch. Obviously, they had that brilliant fight with, but ended up being an excellent fight. Do you think that's another man that could end up on Fury's horizon?
Much further in front than him than that. I'd much rather go and see a rematch with Deontay Wilder than him. I'd much rather see him in with Daniel Dubois. There's great fights there to be made. I mean, Wallin, you know, down the road, I don't know. Maybe let Wallin fight fight Joe or fight Daniel.
What about Fury after this? And I don't want to disrespect Derek, but most of us are expecting Fury to win this fight and win it quite comfortably. Do we see him back in the UK again, or does he?
I don't think. Well, I don't honestly believe that the Usyk fight will be in the UK because of the finances for it. So, will we see him back? I mean, if he wins the fight, he said he wants to be back. He said his fight after that he wants to be as Joe Joyce. If it is, it won't be until late next summer. Yeah, that's for sure. And remember, he's had to have this fight. He was originally going to fight on the 11th of November. We pushed it, brought it forward to accommodate AJ because he said he can only fight in December. So we've done all that. And what my concern with, as far as Tyson's concerned, he fought in April. If this fight is in March with Usyk, which is what we're looking at, he'd have been out the ring for a year without a fight. And I don't want that for him. And he doesn't want that.
He talked about that. I just done an interview with him, Frank, and he talked about how important it is for him to be training, and when he's not fighting, he needs to be training just to keep his mental health intact.
Correct, absolutely right, and I know that better than anybody. I know that better than him, I think, and that's why we are where we are today. And it's, you know, this will be an event. It'll be a good event, and I think, you know, I just think, as I say, Tyson's better than him. But you know, whilst Derek's in there with him, it'll be a fight.
All right then, Frank, we'll let you go. I think you've got a seat up on the top table, warm for you there. I hope you've got insurance on those tables, by the way. It's
they're
a
now
Fury
down.
Chisora
They're now down.
Press conference.
They're now down.
You made sure. All right then, Frank.
Cheers,
Thank you very much for your time. Speak to you
Thanks, Frank.
afterwards.
All the best, man.
Yeah, I think it's where it's a difficult conversation, isn't it, about all these fights getting made, because we know how difficult boxing is. But Frank says it there. You know, it is the best one that we can get, and it's like the best show.
You know, me being a boxing fan, you know, when I heard this fight initially, when it just came to me, I'm like, almost a wee bit deflated and disappointed. But when you actually look at it, probably the best available contender, and with Derek, you know what you're going to get. Like, I'm not sure what's going to happen here. It's clear to see that they have a lot of respect between each other, but they're two characters, two, suppose, hotheads, you can describe them as well.
Yeah, we saw them in Manchester at the top of the show.
Yeah, two very proud men as well. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens in the build-up to this fight.
Yeah, I saw your ears prick up as well when I mentioned that there's an envelope of £10,000 lying around somewhere that Frank's just dropped at the table.
Yeah, or is it?
Yeah, we're all thinking it.
Yeah.
It's like a treasure hunt.
You said about it looked less than what you thought. Frank being Frank, he may have had it in 50s. You know, there's not a lot of £50 notes to make up 10 grand. If he's doing it in fivers or tenors, then it looks like a proper wad.
Yeah. If he was really smart, we'd have done it in coins. Pot gold. And I think also, to be fair, I think it's being guarded by a near 7-foot heavyweight boxing champion, so I'll probably leave that one for now. How different a fighter do you think Derek Chisora is now from when we've seen him before? Because he's had this kind of like Indian summer in his career, hasn't he? He's almost had more popularity. He's selling out more shows. We've seen him on box office on various platforms. He's kind of come into his own since the big fights and the losses.
Yeah,
he's genuinely fearless.
He's a guy who's had 12 defeats in his career, which is a lot for anybody. A hell of a lot, but he's a bit of an enigma, Derek. Like, he has this aura about him. Doesn't really care about anyone or anything. He just gets on with things. And although we didn't see it in the second fight with Fury, where, like I said, he felt a little bit, looked like he was feeling sorry for himself in that fight. Maybe preparations weren't right. But we know for this one, he's going to bring something different. He's going to try. He's going to be aggressive. And I seen him not that long ago. He's just walked in here, so we'll be starting this press conference soon. He is looking solid. He looks in shape, and he looks up for it.
Fury obviously retired last time we were here. How long did you believe that for?
No, I got asked that question a lot. Is Fury really retired? And I said yes. I think he, in his head, he's retired at the minute.
I think it was you he said it to first.
Yeah, but I think I knew he was going to come back. There was going to be something that was going to get him back. And speaking to him after that, you just realise how much he needs to be fighting. He needs something in his life. He needs a bit of direction. He needs to be training towards something just to stay good upstairs. And You know, that's what he does, and it's you know, we all want to see him. We all want to see Tyson Fury in action.
And he's always got something with distractions, isn't he? He's got like this Netflix crew now. He's always kind of in the spotlight and occupies himself in a way that I think a lot of the other boxers don't. And AJ, I guess, can relate. They're just on this kind of different fame scale where to be in the gym takes him away from that kind of distractions.
I think maybe that's it. And then I suppose them distractions might be good as well. For me, I didn't. You know, people talked about, you know, all the media you had to do in the lead up to a fight. Obviously, Tyson Fury's on a different level to me, and the media is, you know, 10-fold, 20, 30-fold. But I enjoyed it because it kind of distracted me from the monotony of training. Maybe he sees it different. He's someone I just feel like he has to be in the gym, and if that suits him, that suits him. That didn't really suit me. I'm enjoying retirement. Let's say that.
I believe Derek. Oh, and Bob Arum there, of course, as well. Derek Chisora, man, a lot of people talk about him. I don't know if you heard, Tyson Fury is there. We'll throw to the press conference now.
All right, well, there's your entrance. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here today at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's great to see so many of you here, as we'd expect, for a fight announcement of this magnitude. We're here because on December the 3rd, we've got a huge night of heavyweight boxing. It's live on BT Sport Box Office and, of course, on ESPN Plus in the US. We have not one, but 2 World Heavyweight Championship fights. The return of the WBC and lineal World Heavyweight Champion Tyson Fury, defending against a man who is guaranteed to bring a war to his door, Derek Chisora, sat with me. We've got a mouth-watering chief support. Daniel Dynamite Dubois makes the first defence of his WBA heavyweight title against a tricky South African southpaw called Kevin Lorena, who may give him fits on December the 3rd. We will find out. It's all brought to you by Frank Warren on behalf of Queensbury, along with Top Rank, and of course Bob Arum is here today as well. Tickets go on sale at 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. Do not miss this, because the last time we had a stadium fight with Tyson Fury, the tickets went like that, and we're expecting the same to happen again. As you can see, it's a heavy-hitting top table here. We've got not one but 2 Hall of Fame boxing promoters. Bob Arum joining us from America. Yeah, let's get a round of applause. Why not? Why not?
2 Hall of Famers. 2 Hall of Famers. In boxing under one roof. And you're looking at a Hall of Famer right here as well, a future Hall of Famer. So that's 3 under one roof. We're not even at a convention.
So Bob Arum's here, and of course Frank Warren's here, the other Hall of Famer that Tyson referred to. And we have the challenger sat next to me here today, making his second challenge for a World Heavyweight Championship and coming off perhaps a career best win against Kubrat Pulev, the one and only Derek War Chisora, and the man who you've already heard from today, the lineal, the WBC World Heavyweight Champion, the man who needs no introduction really, Tyson Fury. And Frank, let's start with you. Let's bring you in here. Give us your thoughts heading into December 3rd, another huge night on UK soil for heavyweight boxing.
I think it's going to be a great night for boxing. You know, Tyson's the biggest attraction in world boxing by none. And here we are at another stadium where I'm hoping he's going to put on, I'm sure he will, a great performance against a guy who we know comes to fight in Derek. And I used to look after Derek, and I know that Derek feels that he's got the beating of him. Me, I think Tyson's the best heavyweight on the planet. I really, bar none. I don't care who's opposite him. I think he's got the beating of everybody. But Derek's there to try and prove me wrong and try and prove Tyson wrong. But this is a great occasion. It'll be a fantastic fight. And it's a fight that Tyson can't afford to slip up on, because we're looking at that unification fight early next year, which doesn't give him a lot of time to prepare. So is Derek going to be a banana skin or not? He's the highest rated available fighter for him to fight. You go on BoxRec, and I'm going to read these out quickly to cut through why we made this fight. Number 1 is Usyk. Usyk was not available. He said he couldn't fight in December. Anthony Joshua, we wasted a month on that. He's not available. Deontay Wilder fought last week. Andy Ruiz, who's fighting Wilder, in the mandatory. Then Dillian White, who Tyson's beat. Then you've got Joe Joyce, who wouldn't be available. He only fought recently. Ortiz, who got beat recently. Then you've got Joseph Parker, who Joe Joyce beat. And number 9 is Derek Chisora. And number 10 is Pulev. So that is the independent rankings. So that's why we are where we are with the highest available contender, who is Derek War Chisora.
And the target, Frank? Derek, did you want to say anything there?
No.
Not yet. It's coming. The target, Frank, is Alexander Usyk. I believe you mentioned it there, first quarter of next year.
Well, that's where we want to be, but obviously we've got to focus on this one. And the reason Tyson is fighting is because he fought in April. The Usyk fight, if it happens, is not until next late February, March. If he didn't fight in between, it'd be nearly a year out the ring, and that's not going to happen. He needs to fight. I gave him my word. I'll put a show on by the 3rd. That's what we've delivered. And he needs to be in the ring. He needs to fight. He's been training, and he needs, after this fight, if he comes through it, he needs to be in a position where he can get into a camp and have adequate preparation for a big fight, provided he gets through the fight.
Well, let's bring in Bob Arum, joining us from America today. Great to have you, Bob. A second consecutive stadium fight in the UK for Tyson Fury. Give us your thoughts heading into this one.
Well, this fight is in a stadium which is now dear to my heart because after 10 miserable years, my football team, the New York Giants, beat the Green Bay Packers here 2 weeks ago. So I'm delighted to be here, and I'm delighted for another reason, because when I look over the great fighters we have in the United States and the attraction, I tell you this honestly, there is no fighter in the world as popular as Tyson Fury.
You talk.
And the fact that we'll be able to bring the people in the United States this fight, which I think will be a terrific heavyweight fight, to the fans in the United States, right in the middle of the college football season, so it'll get a really prominent spot on ESPN, is great for the sport of boxing, and it's great that we can do this as a Christmas present to the fans in the United States.
And what do we make of our challenger, Derek War Chisora? What are your thoughts, Bob?
I have a few thoughts about it. Number one, people say, well, Tyson beat Chisora twice early on. But I say, look what Chisora did with Anthony Usyk, with Alexander Usyk. That fight was a touch-and-go fight all the way before Usyk was able to pull it out. So when then Usyk was made with Anthony Joshua, people said, hey, Usyk has no real chance because look how he struggled with Chisora. But as you saw, Usyk handled Joshua 2 times far, far easier than he matched up against Chisora. That's number one. Number two, this gives me nightmares, with all due respect to Tyson, who I love dearly. I remember years ago, Tommy Morrison had won the WBO Heavyweight Championship against George Foreman and was matched in a unification fight with Lennox Lewis for then record-setting purses. And his manager said, hey, give Tommy a tune-up fight to get him ready for Lennox Lewis. So we did in Tommy's hometown in Oklahoma against Michael Bentt. And the bell rang and Tommy went across the ring and started throwing punches like mad at Michael Bentt. And Bentt hit him with a right hand and knocked Tommy cold And that, for that point in time, was the end of a fight with Lennox Lewis and a $10 million, which was a lot of money, purse to fight Lennox Lewis. This is boxing. Every time you match particularly heavyweights in against hard punching opponents, you have to really say a lot of prayers that something bad doesn't happen. So while I have all the confidence in the world in Tyson Fury, who I believe is the best fighter pound for pound in the world, I'll be as nervous as anyone the night of the fight.
Well, let's bring in our challenger, Derek War Chisora. Derek, the floor is yours. You've heard that you're potentially giving Bob Arum nightmares. What are your thoughts heading into December 3rd?
Am I? I don't know. Give a shout out to Frank Warren, Bob Arum, and the Gypsy King. I'm buzzing. Tottenham. I'm a Man United supporter, but we did well last night. Yeah, it's a great fight. I'm buzzing, so, this will be a good fight. I can't really say much because they put a gag on me in the contract, so for me to go here and start saying much, I can't really, so that's how I leave it.
There was a confrontation last month at the Joyce Parker fight. You seemed to come to loggerheads at ringside where it looked like you two did say much, and in fact you said he's a chicken afterwards, or he chickened out. What happened? No. I have to give a shout. Tyson, he's always said it's going to be his third fight, and then the fight is here now. So I'm excited. I thank Tyson for giving me the opportunity to fight him. Give a shout out to his whole family. I'm buzzing. Is there bad blood? Not really, but, I want to take what's his and make mine. So I can't box him. I can't. So I have to go in the mentally of, I have to physically take what's his and make mine. So for me to sit here and try and say different things, it's not the way I operate. So now I have to get in my mindset that, there's going to be loads of leathers chucked, punches chucked. I'm excited about that, but the end goal, I have to take what's his and make mine. That's my whole objective to this fight now. So what's his, I want to make it mine. Physically, mentally, I want and come and take it off him. That's how I'm training right now. I want to take it. I don't want it. I want to physically take it off him. That's what I want. The same way he went to LA and Vegas twice, he went there, physically took what was Deontay Wilder and made it his. So this is exactly what I want to do. I want to come to Tottenham and physically take what's his and make mine. Well, let's bring in Tyson Fury. Tyson, you've heard there from Derek. He says he's going to come and physically take what is yours. Your mic is live. Over to you.
Firstly, I just want to say thank you to Frank and Bob and Queensberry and Top Rank for putting on a fantastic show here. Secondly, I'd like to say massive thank you to Frank Warren because he's a man of his word, and for more than one reason before we start the press conferences. Frank Warren promised me when I returned from my short retirement that I would fight in December. And we tried to fight Joshua, we tried to fight Usyk, we tried to fight a few people, but they didn't want no smoke. So Frank is delivering this date on December the 3rd. So big shout out for that, Frank. And also, massive respect because in my bag here, can you bring me bag up here, please? I have £10,000 in cash that I've collected today from Mr. Frank Warren. 2.5, 10. That's 10 grand in cash that Frank has brought for me today because I bet Frank Warren £10,000 that Joshua won't sign the contract. Guess what? 10 grand richer, tax-free, bet money. You don't. Put that back in my bag, please, and hold it tight because that 10 grand means more to me than 10 million because I've got it in my hand physically and I want it from Frank Warren. So I think he beat me with Joe Parker the other day, So now I'll beat you with this one. So fair play, Frank. And as for me trying to sit here and sell Derek Chisora to the fans, I ain't got to sell absolutely nothing to nobody. Because if we go to that bar over there and we order a treble Jack Daniels on the rocks, we know what the fuck it's going to do. We know what it's going to do. So when I say Chisora, don't forget, like, you got the so-called guys in the division that people, oh, these guys are top guys. We offer them big fights, no smoke, no smoke. You offer it to Derek Chisora, boom, he sat here opposite me. Man's got balls, and in today's society, in this boxing game, there's a big lack of balls. And you know who you are, these people who don't want no smoke. So with Chisora, he comes and he says exactly what it says. He does what it says on the tin. He goes to war. He's changed his name from Del Boy to War, and we're going to get a war. Now, however, I did outbox him comfortably the second time, but Chisora's style has changed, and guess what? So was mine. I used to be a tip-tap boxer on the back foot, jibbing and jabbing around the ring, and now I'm a HMS destroyer. So when you got two heavy forces colliding with massive bombs, and guess what? Someone's getting knocked out. That's all I'm saying, you know. If he lands a punch on me, a big swing, I'm getting knocked out. If I land a big swing on him, he's getting knocked out. So the fans are going to win here tonight. 100%, because when 70,000 fans out there, which that will sell out in one day, 70,000, second back-to-back stadium fight, and who better than my old mate Derek Chisora to have a third fight with, whom I promised for years to have a third fight. Good money. Bringing it back to England again for the British economy in hard times. People will come here, spend money in London, so that helps restaurants, pubs, bars, hotels. And then Chisora's getting paid, I'm getting paid. What are we going to do? We're going to spend it in England, in the shops, bars, restaurants, pubs, nightclubs, strip clubs, whatever, how we spend our money, I don't know. So it's all staying in this country. So, you know, fair play to it. And, you know, me and Chisora's going to put on a hell of a fight, and that's it. May the best man win.
Tyson, you said that you believe you'd knock out Anthony Joshua, and that you could beat Derek Chisora in between rounds. Now, it feels like it's got a tad more frosty recently between you. There was that ringside confrontation. Do you stand by that statement?
100%. I can beat anybody in the world. Always have been able to, and always will be able to. All the time I'm boxing, I can beat anybody. There's nobody that can touch me. I'm on a league of my own, I believe. And, you know, he done very well against Usyk, and may I say, who the hell is Usyk when he's at home? People don't even know his name until he beat the bodybuilder the other day. He was a little small heavyweight who was not going to do anything against AJ when Chisora fought him, but then he stepped up and beat the big bodybuilder, and all of a sudden he's a killer. I don't think so. Listen, I rate Derek Chisora as highly as I rate Usyk, and I will train as hard for Derek as I would do any man in the world. And if I didn't, I'd have to be an absolute idiot. I will not underestimate Derek Chisora. And what Bob's talking about, the Michael Bent, Tommy Morrison, no disrespect to both of them, but if you combined them both, they won't make my left shoe. So that ain't happening, because I prepare correct. And I prepare hard, and I do everything correct. I don't cut any corners. And when I go in there, I leave everything in the ring, and God forbid I got beat. It won't be for the fact that, oh, I had an injury or I didn't train hard enough. It would be the fact that I lost to a better man on the night. So I wish Chisora all the luck in the world, and we're going to have a fight, and that's it. Going to be a good fight too, because he don't shy away, and I'm running nowhere, so someone's getting chinned.
Derek, let me ask you this, right? Tyson's taken centre stage there.
You should. See, sure.
Well, what do you see when you look at him now? If you have a little look at Tyson Fury, what do you see when you look at that man? A man you know.
He's shrunk a little bit.
A handsome rogue.
He's shrunk a little bit.
Anything else?
He's shrunk.
Have you seen any vulnerabilities in his last few fights? Is he the same guy that beat you 8 years ago?
He's got a chip on his shoulder, Tyson, about AJ. I don't understand why. I think the whole Bob Arum and Frank Warren have a massive chip about AJ. I don't understand why. Why is that, Frank?
Like a ball. A chip.
Yeah, I mean, like you're so upset, you know that.
Listen, I believed in him. It cost me 10 grand. I thought he was going to fight.
Yeah, but there's complications in the whole
anyway,
thing.
Do you know what?
Yeah,
don't worry about
it.
You
don't
even want to worry about it.
Yeah,
All you need to worry about is one thing. this man to my right. That's all you need to
Frank. I don't worry about anybody. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys. You know why? Put me in a room with so many guys. I don't worry about anything. I am that guy you need.
I was fighting him. I'd worry about it.
No, I don't have to worry, man.
Yeah,
he's a big guy. I don't give a shit.
He's a big guy, and he can punch and he can box. He's a fighting machine.
We'll see.
Yeah, we will.
We shall see.
Do you know what, guys? You two need to get a room, because it wasn't so long ago when I was stood up here on my own, the little old boy from Manchester, and you two versus me. And now how the tables have turned. The tables have turned. It was all of a sudden, yeah, Chisora, knock him out. And now look, the big man is in the stage, get up! And now, like Chisora once said, I have the big fish promoter behind me, so thank you very much.
The only thing Frank Warren don't have on is a dress, because he'll go anywhere with his money.
What'd you say?
I said the only thing you don't have on is a dress, my friend, because you go anywhere there's money, my friend.
I don't have a dress.
Oh, shots fired.
I didn't understand it. Say it again.
I say the only thing you don't have on is a dress, because wherever there's money, you will go there. You get it? Everybody got it.
I thought that was your game. Hey. You know, I never get. Listen, one thing I've never done is go and hoard myself, Derek.
Oh.
Go and look in the mirror, son. Go and look in the mirror. All you need to do now, Derek, is get yourself ready for the third.
What? I can't hear you.
Third, you be there. We're gonna have a fight.
You know what? We should get Eddie Hunt on the phone and figure out how we're gonna sell out this stadium. Let's get Eddie Hunt on the blower quickly.
I think he's actually trying to ring Eddie out.
Let's phone Eddie. No, we have to figure out how we're going to sell the stadium.
He can't help you. You've got to fight the big man. He ain't going to be able to do nothing for you. He's gone into hiding.
He's not going to. He can help. He sells the stadiums every day.
But Derek, you understand Frank's delivering you a world title fight the second time in your career.
Mate, we know who's paying you. Don't worry about that.
Listen, Frank is delivering Derek the second world title, and all Eddie Hearn could do was try and use him as cannon fodder. Didn't deliver anything, did he? It was Frank who delivered the first world title shot against Klitschko, and then the second world title shot against GK for the WBC belt.
No, I got it. I delivered myself, man.
Rubbish.
I'm only here because of myself. It's not because I'm here. I'm here because you called me and said, "Oh, listen, do you want to fight me?" I'm like, "Yeah, speak to mommy and daddy." And then you got mommy and daddy with you. But you see anyone with me? No. That's mommy and there's daddy there. And then you got bigger son there. So that's why I'm here. You know, you phoned me and said, speak to mommy and daddy. And now we're here. So it's cool. Do you understand?
Oh, and by the way, what happened to this? Oh, Tyson Fury never offered me no fight. You little bullshit artist. I spoke to your manager on the phone. And, I don't know where he is. I don't even know what he looks like.
He's there. KD!
Who?
KD.
KD was on the FaceTime to me, wherever KD is.
He's there. He's right next to the
So
money.
he knows.
KD, take that bag of money. Don't
worry. He was
We're
offered this
Tottenham.
fight.
Take that bag of money. We're in Tottenham. Take that bag of money. Don't worry.
That's KD. He knows. He knows.
The bag of money.
He knows the fight was offered, and Chisora was saying, Tyson's a bipolar. He says a load of shit. But here we are again, the fight's been offered and now you've accepted. So guess what? I'm not that bipolar, am I? Because we're making it, it's done. Derek has signed the contract. You talk.
Sit down, man. Just sit down. Where'd you get
I'm sick of sitting down. I spent 4 hours on a train. I'm standing.
Tyson, same question to you. What do you see when you look over here at Derek Chisora, a man that you've seen so many times in your life? What do you see now when you look at him?
I'm not going to sit here and call Derek Chisora names. Because I won't. I fought the man twice, and I respect Derek, and I'm actually a fan of Derek Chisora. When this man fights, even when he was fighting my mate Joe Parker, I wanted them both to do well, which is crazy. A draw would have been the best outcome for me because I've supported them both. And you only can look at Derek Chisora's resume and respect a man like that. He's fought everybody. He's fought the greats of this generation and other people as well. And he always comes and brings his A game. So Chisora's had 12 losses on his record, but 8 or 9 of them have been to world heavyweight champions, or past champions, or former champions, or future champions. So you've got to respect him, and that's it. I've got nothing bad to say about Derek. I think he's a good fighting man and he brings his A game every time. Whether it's going to be good enough to beat me, I don't think so. Because no disrespect to him or anybody, I just don't think any of these people can beat me. In my reign right now, I'm reigning supreme. And I'll beat him. And then when I beat the little middleweight guy, people are going to say to me, oh, he was too small, he was half your size, let's not give him anything for it. He was always going to win. That's what they'll say. 100%. I've seen it so many times. Just like when I beat Wilder, all of a sudden Wilder was shit. He never was any good. And now he's knocked out Helenius, all of a sudden he's a killer again. But I've slain the killer. Slain him. But who knows? Get Chisora out of the way. There might be a fourth Deontay Wilder fight. People say to me, you beat Derek Chisora twice already. Why are you fighting him again? Who wants to see that? But I say to you, I beat Deontay Wilder 3 times. 2 times in a draw, whatever you want to say. But who here would not want to see me versus Wilder for a 4th time? Not very many people. So, we're here, we're going to fight, we're going to sell out this stadium, and we're going to put a good show on right before Christmas. And I'm going to go home and have a good Christmas with my family, and Derek can have the same with his. Happy days.
Derek, do you have any questions for Tyson?
No, I'm just getting ready my mindset for this fight.
What is the mindset? War?
No, mindset has to be massive. Mindset has to be so strong. You don't understand. You know, my mindset is going to be so tough. Yeah, on the night. Yeah, I think you've seen it tough about this. Not this time is going to be so tough. You don't understand. It's going to be like. It's like that bag with 10 grand in it. I'm just thinking right now. Is that bag going to leave Tottenham with 10 grand in it? Oh, he's going to get on the train with no money in it because I want that money now. This is the mindset I got. I was already plotting of trying to rob that 10 grand when I was sitting here.
You don't need to rob it. You don't need to rob the man of 10 grand. I'm giving you a fortune in a minute. Just hold your horses to December and you get paid.
I'm trying to explain to you this, yeah. I want to take that and make mine now. You know, that 10 grand. You understand?
Take it then.
Yeah, no, but I don't want you to give it to me. I want to take it. I want to, you know.
Take it. Man's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Take it off him.
Don't worry, man. I'm a black belt in crazy. Listen, so you have to understand the mindset. The mindset is unbelievable right now. It's just crazy right now. So I'm just buzzing. You will see. You will see. You know. It's going to be toe-to-toe. Yeah, 100%. I'm buzzing for this fight.
Do you think you can knock him out?
I have to knock him out. I'm going to drop him, yeah.
Have you seen stuff in his recent fights? Because you've picked against him. You picked against him with Dillian White. You picked against him. You say Anthony Joshua will beat him. Have you seen something?
No, I'll beat him. Yeah, I'll beat him. I'm going to knock him out. I'm going to stop him. I'm going to knock him out. 100%. I'm going to knock him out. And when I do knock him out, don't say anything else. Just say thank you and say congratulations.
I'll say thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to knock him out. 100%. I'm going to knock him out.
Good stuff.
All right, Tyson, well, look, over to you. You're right of reply to that. And what are your sort of final thoughts heading into this fight? How do you see it playing out when the first bell rings December 3rd?
Listen, if he says he's going to knock me out, I want to see him do it. And if he does, I'll be the first one to congratulate him, shake his hand and say well done. Yeah, listen, I'm expecting a good fight, a good entertaining night of boxing in Britain again, in the second stadium back-to-back. I knew better than Derek Chisora to do it with. Man who turned up. Only thing I'll say is, don't get any injuries and don't get second thoughts. Turn up on the night, let's give the fans a fight. That even rhymed, wow.
All right, well, let's sign out with Frank Warren and Bob Arum. Bob, I'll come to you first. Give us your final thoughts ahead of this one, December 3rd.
Well, you know, this is really a great experience because these guys know how to talk. And I just hope that the fight will be as interesting as the discussion that we've heard today. And I think it will. I really look forward to a very, very exciting fight. It can't be anything else. Derek has said that the The way his victory is to knock Tyson out. And Tyson, you've seen what he's done in his last fights, knocking out his opponents. People love knockouts. That's what they're going to see on December 3rd. So we're going to see a really great competitive fight.
And just for the record, guys, I will do what Pulev and Usyk couldn't, and Parker. I will knock him out. That's it.
Frank, if you want to close on this, and also, are we heading into a territory now where this could be, if not the final, but one of the final times we'll see Tyson in the UK?
Well, if it comes through this one, then obviously the next one looks like it may be abroad. So if he does, he's going to be out there for a little while. I'm sure he'll want to come back to see the fans, but you won't see him on these shores for a little while. But having said that, all you need to do is you want to see Tyson in action, is to be here on the 3rd. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a knockout. It will be a knockout. This fight is not going the distance.
All right, Derek, anything you want to get off your chest before we close off?
KD, take that back quickly.
There's a man with £10,000 sweating very nervously.
He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu, but it's okay, you're a black belt in crazy. Take it back. I got your back.
He's got a black belt in origami.
What's that? Herpes?
And that sounds like a good note to end on. December 3rd, we will be back here at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Tickets go on sale at noon tomorrow via ticketmaster.co.uk. It's Tyson Fury, the best heavyweight in the world, WBC. There he is.
He's back.
He's back. Right here, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium against this man, Derek War Chisora. It will be a war. Do not miss it. 12 o'clock noon tomorrow. Tickets go on sale. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Billy.
That rose gold one's nice. Are you scared of me, Chisora?
I'm scared of your suit, son. It's a nightmare.
Scary.
Who's your tailor?
There is.
Who? Is that the tailor? Huh? Oh yeah? Oh, cool. Nice gear. I like it. Make sure the guy with the 10 grand don't go anywhere without seeing him, bro. I'll pay you any money, that 10 grand is not leaving Tottenham. Legend here, son.
Nice and close, lads.
Watch yourself, Bob.
Easy now, Bobby. Don't kill him.
Bob's 91 years old. He's going to outlive me, is he? He lived to 139. So am I. Listen, I knew you'd take it. I knew you was going to take the fight. You have showed up the bodybuilder. You have showed him up.
Let me say something.
You have showed him.
You got so much bipolar over AJ.
He's got nothing. Man's a coward. Man's a coward. And I'm just going to keep torturing him until he actually gets the balls to fight. Yeah, no, he won't. Because that's why you've stepped in.
Don't worry about that.
Listen, you should let me manage you. I'm the man who's got you this £2 million, me, not AJ, and I'll do it for free. I won't take a tenner off you, because I like to help people out for nothing. Free of charge. For old time's sake. Let me manage you. Let me manage you. I know you're nervous. Just calm down.
Man like me don't get nervous, boy. You don't know.
Like he said, I'm bipolar. Yes, I am. You can't chuck that at me as an offensive thing, because I am bipolar. We know that. I've got bipolar disorder. And what? So, you can't use it against me. I'm mentally unwell. You've got to go in there with a mental patient, not me. Yes! Ah! Why would I do that? I don't want to get my ass kicked up in here.
Fuck it up and go.
Thank you.
Easy now, easy.
All right, thanks very much,
Yep.
guys.
Tyson to BT?
Yes.
Where are we going now?
BT. Thank you.
Derek, you're coming this way. Out of the way, guys. Just watch the wire, guys. Watch the wire, yeah?
You shouldn't have gagged him,
Why,
Frank.
guys?
That's bad. You should have let him just be himself, not gag him.
Right then, as you can see, we're joined by Tyson Fury himself. The main event
Dapper
again,
Don.
the Dapper Don at a stadium once again.
Yeah, back to back.
It seems you got to talk into the microphone.
Yeah, back to back. Twice, 2 in a row.
Was there something? Obviously, there was all the talk about the retirement after the last fight, but was there something about that last fight against Dillian White, the 96,000 people
There was
at Wembley?
94,000. That's not. 94,000 people at Wembley, the highest crowd ever recorded after World War II.
Was something about the size of that night? Did that bring you back?
I wouldn't say it was the size of the night, because every event's different and every fight's different and every crowd's different, but it just shows you where we are, because to do 2 stadium fights back to back, Wembley and now Tottenham, back in London again, it's amazing. You know, I'm very proud of myself. I'm very proud of them. It's been a fantastic journey, and it's a journey that just keeps giving, and I just keep giving.
I mentioned to Tyson earlier on that I was asked the question, is he really retired? And I thought in his head and you're back, and we're all glad to see it.
I'm back, and you know, I really meant it, hand on heart, like I swear to God I meant retirement. I didn't just do it as a publicity stunt. I really meant retire, and if you would have put me in a lie detector test there and then, I would have 100% passed it. But I now know a normal life I can't live. A normal life is out of order. You know, it's not going to happen. I can't live a normal life. It's this or nothing, and it will cost me eventually. And enjoy it. We're already at the stars. We're going to the stratosphere out there somewhere.
You've obviously come in today shouting, everyone's here for you. It's an enormous crowd that you're used to, not just of the general public, but the press. You've got to know them so well after all these years. Last time out, you had to do it by yourself. Now, Derek Chisora also very familiar with these environments.
Very familiar.
He gave you a bit back in the press conference there.
Yeah,
even Frank caught a few stray bullets.
Yeah, Frank got a couple of jabs with the left hook combined. I'm very unhappy that Frank's put a gagging order on Derek, because, without that gagging order, he would have done something different here today, and I'm quite sure of that. So I'm going to have to speak to Frank and tell him to take that gagging order off him. But other than that, I think, very, very, very happy with the press turnout, and big respect to those guys.
What timepiece?
Big respect. I'm just rocking the latest timepiece of the Fury collection. It's an Apple Watch for about £100.
Checking his steps for the day.
You come to London with an eye round.
All right, though, big man.
Yeah,
listen, nobody can fight a knife in the throat, something, can they?
True.
That's why knife crime sucks, and anybody who carries a knife is a coward. And I said it first. So really, really happy. Looking forward to the fight. 70,000 people here at Tottenham. Did you see Tottenham get tonked last night by United 2-0?
I did. I thought you
should
might
have been
mention
4-0. Really happy with everything. I'm really looking forward to a good fight.
What about a stadium fights, or what do you do now? It has to be a stadium. Old Trafford.
You started in the Elfin Stadium.
Well, that was good.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah,
Famous member of the Carl-Frampton undercard.
On his undercard in a stadium, Windsor Park.
That was great. That was a great night.
Great night. Throwback.
But what about talking about stadiums? And you've done Wembley. You're about to do Tottenham Hotspur. What about Old Trafford one day?
This one was supposed to be at Old Trafford, but there was something the manager said didn't have enough turnaround time to sort the pitch out after the event, so they ended up down here.
Okay.
Also, December in Manchester. I mean, December in London's one thing, but December in Manchester,
different
outside.
Story. You're right, yeah.
Listen, December in Manchester, bring it on. Let's do it.
I tell you what, there's been so much talk about the 10 grand in cash, the British economy being revived by the fight.
We just better watch
Liz
that
Truss,
10 grand in cash, that's all I'm saying.
Liz Truss clearly heard enough of it because she's got nervous enough about the economy to step down while that press conference was on.
She just retired.
Retired,
resigned, sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's all your talk about cash, the new Chancellor.
That was almost as brief as Tyson Fury's retirement, that one.
Yeah, actually, what is the stats? 45 days, I think she was Prime Minister. Were you retired for that long?
We're not
I think longer. You were longer.
Criticise anybody. Congratulations on becoming the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Excellent result. And, wish you nothing but the luck in the future.
Right, speaking of the future, obviously you've had to face off with Derek there.
Yeah.
He was mentioning an obsession with Joshua. He was mentioning how much that's been brought up in the build-up to this fight. How do you put that to the side and focus on a man in front of you that you have already beaten twice?
Yeah, I can do that quite comfortably because when I go to sleep at night, I know that Joshua's a coward. And if he wasn't a coward, it'd be Fury versus Joshua rather than Fury Chisora. So, I can sleep very easy, very, very easy, knowing that I got to fight this man who's going to come and bring a war.
Do you think it's a different fight than the last one? Obviously, the last one was very comfortable for you. You have to say that.
Yeah, I stopped him in 10 rounds last time and swollen eye. I'm knocking him out cold this time. I'm going to do what Usyk, Pulev, Parker couldn't do. Knocking him out, spark out.
Is there in a section of the fight, first half, second half?
I might just get a few rounds in, jib and jab around, and then wham! That's what she said.
It says something about Chisora that there's such a small handful of heavyweights that have genuinely been in with a number of the best, and Chisora hasn't he? He has fought, other than AJ and Wilder, the big names of this generation and the last. Is his courage and this kind of like second section of his career, does it make it a completely different event? Not just fight, but event as a whole.
It's a great event. You got Chisora and myself going out there, good talkers, good entertainers. People know what they're getting with him, they know what they're getting with me. And it's a great British World Heavyweight title fight. People should be very happy because other than me and Dylan White, before that was a long, long time before two Brits had fought for the World Heavyweight title, WBC. So I won't be here forever. So what I can say is just enjoy it while I am here because they'll be waiting 1,000 years for somebody else to come and fill my boots. It won't happen. You heard it here first.
Do you think so we'll go back to the fight. It was, I think, 8 years ago now, the last time you fought.
14, yeah.
And it was a comfortable fight for you. Your style has changed now. You plant the feet more. You mentioned it up there. Does that give Derek a better chance, I suppose?
I think it does, yeah. Before I'd boxed his face off and jabbed around the ring and he wouldn't have landed any punches like he didn't last time. This time he's got more chance in knocking me out because I'm standing to knock him out. So yeah, much more interesting fight, I'd say. And a lot of people say that Derek Chisora is a better fighter now than when I fought him in 14. I don't believe that. I believe the man was in his prime of his life and now he's 38, battered to pieces. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, so you think he's slowed down? He's a different fighter?
I think we both slowed down because the fountain of youth has left us. And I think that, listen, one punch from a heavyweight, curtains. Anybody. If Robert Davis hit me on the chin today, he'd probably knock me out cold when I wasn't looking. So never mind Chisora.
Yeah, I mean, he is the second hardest puncher in the world behind Wilder, though, isn't he?
There you go.
Were you expecting anything from Derek at the press conference today? Do you think he was going to try and bring some kind of mind games in? Did you think something was getting thrown, someone was going to get pushed, or did you think it would be, all verbal?
We've seen Derek Chisora slap people, spit in the face, throw a table at somebody, call them donkeys, hit them in the face, whatever. Every time I fought Derek, he didn't do any of that to me because he knows the consequences. That's it.
So, do you think that's a sign of respect, or do you think it's more a bit of a fear factor? And
do you know what it is? Like with me, it is what you see in the tin. I'm not a troublesome person. I don't like trouble, and I can't stand people who want to make trouble. No interest in it. But if a man gets to me face and tries something, then I've got to protect myself, and I think he knows that.
And when you were facing off at the end there, you mentioned to him that you said you think he's nervous. Do you think he actually is?
He's nervous. You know why he's nervous? Because he's in his hometown in London, not far from where he's from, and he's got to box me. He's coming off good victories and a couple of good fights with Usyk and Parker, and then beating Pulev. He's on a real run, isn't he? Like, he puts up good fights, and if he loses by a split. But when he loses to me again, he'll be chinned. And it is curtains, isn't it?
And your last couple of fights, he's obviously predicted you'd lose. He's bet against you. I think he even bet at House. Did he bet his House that you'd lose?
He did.
And you've already won this bet with Frank Warren today. Is there going to be anything going on the line here?
I don't know, I'm going to have a think about it when I'm on the way back home on the train. And I'm going to think what round I'm going to take him out in. And I'm going to put all my eggs in one basket, and I'm going to go for that round. I'm going to sit down with Sugar when he gets here this week, Saturday, and we're going to pick a round, whether it's round 2, whether it's round 6 or 4 or 10, and I'm going to put everything into it, and I'm going to take him out in that round. And I'm going to predict it beforehand in the final press conference.
So we're imagining this is going to be... It's a heavyweight fight, anything can happen, but most people are swaying towards you and they think will win the fight. When do we see you out again after this one?
February.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Another stadium fight?
Another stadium fight.
You like doing them in the winter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another,
if we could get a February one in Edinburgh or something, that would be nice.
A February one, and then we're looking to go out in February, March, April, May, June time maybe. And then the back end. I want 3 fights next year. Made it very clear to Frank, very clear to Top Rank and Queensberry that this year I'll have had 2 fights. Next year I want 3.
Yeah.
Regardless of who they are, I don't care.
Busy.
And after that, stay that, yeah. Because if I'm going to keep boxing around, I may as well stay busy and stay active and sharpen up and keep an edge over all these guys.
And Frank mentioned earlier that the path that you want to take is Chisora, Usyk, Joyce. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works for me. Anybody, I don't care whether it's Dubois, Wilder, Ruiz, whoever it's going to be. I've got a mandatory coming in April with the WBC, so the unification has to happen in February or March, or the WBC will call me mandatory and I'll have to fight the winner of Ruiz and Wilder again. So if they want to do this fight, they better hurry up and do it.
There we go. Sounds like we're getting a quadrilogy.
Fury
and Wilder. Who knows? Tyson, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, big man.
Well done.
And just drop that
All the
mic.
best.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Hell of a suit. You need to get one of those.
Great suit. I couldn't pull it off, could I? Couldn't pull it off. Great suit. I mentioned that earlier on. I like his suits, actually. I like his style.
Yeah.
Apparently has a wee bit of a... he's involved in designing the suits as well.
They're all sort of quite personal, aren't they? We could talk for hours about his sartorial choices. But watching that press conference now, I saw you grinning away. There was a lot of messing around, a lot of kind of swipes being taken. Has your kind of opinion on what Derek Chisora is turning up to this fight been swayed a little bit by seeing him up there? He said about his win at all cost mentality. He says, look, I need the money, I need to win, I want to come and take that. Do people maybe look at Derek Chisora and see him because of the losses on his record and say, oh no, he just turns up? Whereas up there, I feel like he wants a fight.
I don't think I was swayed by it. I think I had, I know what Derek's going to bring. I know that he's going to try. He's not just going to give up. And although 8 years ago they did have a fight and looked like he felt maybe sorry for himself at times in that fight, I think he's a different fighter now. And he was Del Boy then. He's now Derek Ward Chisora. Different type of fighter. And he'll be up for this. It's a huge fight. A lot of spotlight on him. Although he's been involved in some big fights before, gotta say this is the biggest fight of Derek Chisora's career.
I think it's his first stadium fight, isn't it? It does. it does change the size of the fight. It changes a lot about the fight. I guess the fact that it's going to be outside in December as well. All those little things. You've been in the ring. Do those little things, those little outside factors, change how you feel going into a fight?
I'm not sure. We know, but we know what Derek's going to bring. I don't know if he ever expected this fight to come around again. I always found it interesting that Tyson had mentioned his list of opponents, and AJ and Usyk were mentioned, and then Chisora at the end. And I always thought, well, why would you want to fight Derek again? But looking at and suppose what Frank has explained to us, going down the list of heavyweights and what is available and what's on offer, Derek is definitely the best option available. Going to be a big underdog in the fight. Heavyweight boxing. It could be his Buster Douglas moment against Mike Tyson. It could be his, Bob talked about Morrison and Bent, Ruiz and AJ. We've got them sort of fights, and stranger things have happened in this sport.
Frank, Tyson, Derek all promised a knockout. Tyson just there has mentioned that Derek, 38 years old now, he's older himself. That punch resistance does go down. Is that what you feel like you're expecting? Not that tip-tappy style. You're expecting both of them to go, and Tyson could be vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't really know. I think Tyson is.
Here comes Derek now.
Oh,
Derek, there's your microphone.
Big man.
What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? What up?
I
see that big dust on the corner right there.
It's been a day of great entrances.
That big dust on the corner right there. Tyson, you suck.
You'll get him eventually. You'll get him eventually. Derek, Tyson says you're in the sport. What do you say to that? Because you don't strike me as a man who gets nervous.
Bro, let me explain something to you so you understand. To those at home. I am that guy who looks at his CCTV cameras outside his house every day to just hope somebody jumps in my garden and come and do something. Well, name no big.
Changes the fight a bit. Your popularity among
you get people with 50 million followers online. But when you make it in life,
is when you go where acknowledge them that, oh, he's on the bus there. Do you understand?
Do you think it's more frightening though to put a ticket on your car than it is on my car?
That's not, because all my ticket guys, I like them. Everybody from Mayfair, anywhere. You know, when it's time, if they want something, they come. Like, let's do it for her.
Yeah.
But we do it because they're my people. You know, this is how I made it in life. So when I walk in Tottenham in the next couple of weeks here, I'm gonna be buzzing. You know, I'm gonna be buzzing because I know half of this stadium came to.
It's clearly what you love. You love the fight.
Yeah.
I imagine you're going to be like you're up for this fight, but that's what you love to do. You are going to be buzzing on that ring walk. Once you get into the ring, that's where you want to be.
It's gonna be a long ring walk, and now you know they drop some.